Hello, Mary Farias here with 5 minutes is better than nothing of personal development. We're studying my book, How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We're in chapter 6 on imagination. We are on page 137. What I would do if I had $1,000,000. This story proves the truth of the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. It was told to me that beloved educator and clergyman, the late Frank W. Gonzalez, who began his preaching career in the Stockyards region of South Chicago. While Dr. Gonzalez was going through college, he observed many defects in our educational system, defects which he believed he could correct if he were the head of a college. His deepest desire was to become the directing head of an educational institution in which young men and women would be taught to learn by doing. He made up his mind to organize a new college in which he could carry out his ideas without being handicapped by orthodox methods of education. He needed $1,000,000 to put the project across. Where was he to lay his hands on so large a sum of money? That was the question that absorbed most of his ambitious young preacher's thought. But he couldn't seem to make any progress. Every night he took that thought to bed with him. He got up with it in the morning. He took it with him everywhere he went. He turned it over and over in his mind until it became a consuming obsession with him. $1,000,000 is a lot of money. He recognized that fact, but he also recognized that truth that the only limitation is that which one sets up in one's own mind. Being a philosopher as well as a preacher, Dr. Gonzalez recognized, as do all who succeed in life, that definiteness of purpose is the starting point from which one must begin. He recognized too that definiteness of purpose takes on animation, life, and power when backed by a burning desire to translate that purpose into its material equivalent. All right, I'm going to stop there because then it moves into Dr. Gonzalez's speech. So, a couple of things are really important here in this page. The idea of that he turned this question over and over in his mind. He brought it to bed with him at night. He woke up with it in the morning. He turned it over in his mind all day long until it became a consuming obsession. So he also understood that the only limitation is that which we set up in our own minds. So he kept playing and toying with this idea. How do I raise $1,000,000? How do I raise $1,000,000? Well, as you'll find out tomorrow, he got the answer. But the fact of the matter is, he wouldn't have gotten the answer if he didn't think about this over and over and over again. So the lesson here is that if you want something, play it over and over and over in your mind. How is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? What am I going to do? How do I do this? How do I do this? Because if we ask a question, there is inherent in it an answer. There has to be an answer if there is a question. There couldn't be a question if there was no answer. Every problem has a solution. There couldn't be a solution or a problem if there were not a solution already. So begin to understand this and begin to play with it. And it doesn't even have to be big things like $1,000,000 that this preacher was talking about. It could be something smaller. Oh, how am I going to get a cup of coffee today? How am I going to get a cup of coffee today? You never know. So I want you to play with this idea of just making the thing that you desire a consuming obsession, thinking about it before you go to bed, thinking about it when you wake up, thinking about it all through the day. All right, that's all for now. See you tomorrow.